The biggest reason we're here, it's about the study, the landscape study findings on domestic funding for family planning, commodities and supplies. Civic organizations can play a key role in the enhancement of transparency, accountability, participation, and more by contributing to the increased public debate on issues surrounding the formulation and implementation of government budgets, as well as supporting the greater transparency of public revenue. While we're discussing this, we need to know how much supplies do we have and how much products do we have to address the issues of family planning.
I'd like to remind you a few issues regarding the policy dialogue on domestic financing of family planning supplies in Uganda, and issues that we have been discussing throughout the last year events, which are very important to continuing to pursue issues related to family planning. Of interventions using a multi-sectoral approach at the national and subnational level. More specifically, implementation of the family planning program in Uganda is guided by the second National Family Planning Costed Implementation Plan 2021 to 2025, FPCIP2, and FPCIP2 is a roadmap for family planning implementation and a tool for prioritization of interventions. Regarding financing for family planning commodities, as part of the Family Planning 2030 Global Partnership, Uganda launched 6 commitments at the end of 2021 as a pathway to achieving the targets of increasing the modern contraceptive prevalence rate from 39 to 50%.
We keep reminding them that you have made a commitment, but how do we support them to fulfill that commitment? We are not auditing them, but we are working together. We want to ensure that we have that mutual understanding, mutual relationship to engage them to fulfill those commitments.
Partners have been tracking budgets. Some of us here have been tracking budgets over time, and majority of the partners do not go beyond the allocations. The allocations means the money that appears in the budget that is supposed to do something. But this does not just, looking at the allocations, does not answer the questions of how has this money been utilized and has it actually reached the end user. So this study sought to go further than that, further than the allocations and disbursements. Disbursement is, now that the money has been allocated to this entity, has it actually moved from the budget documents and whatever, has it been sent to the accounts? For instance, from the Ministry of Health, has it moved to the entity? Has it moved to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development? Has it moved from there to the specific entities like the Ministry of Health or the National Medical Stores? And how often does this happen? This normally happens on a quarterly basis. That's the step that's in between the allocation and the expenditure. Expenditure, which we sought to get deeper into with this study, is now that the money has gone to the entity, what has it been used for? Has it actually been expended? Has it been spent? If it has been spent, how much of it has been spent? What has it procured? That's really what the background of the study is.
Benefits, and that is universal health coverage. So if we can work together and we don't look at government as government, because we are all citizens of this country, so we are part of a program, we can achieve for family planning. So the study was looking at where are the gaps. Charities' presentation was addressing the monies, the budget. This one is specifically looking at capacities of CSOs to be able to use that information and engage with the policy and decision maker. But 3FHI wants to address those gaps. So that all civil society organizations, at least a number of them, are able to engage in that dialogue with government officials. And then specifically, for us to be able to get to that level, this study mapped the CSOs, and in mapping CSOs, we are looking at what are they doing as civil society organizations in terms of advocating, but also accountability for family planning.
For me, I look at it as in this perspective. Are the commodities available? If they are available, are they accessible? Because we might have the commodities, but when they are not accessible. So, if they are accessible, the service providers, are they able to provide these commodities?
Because the major aspects which we are having here is the financing basket. It's the basket. There are so many priorities. But the government definitely has to handle all of them. But the basket is low. So, all good people, I think the parliamentarians here, one of the things which we think definitely will be able to, might not sort it 100%, but be able to help it. It's really for us to be able to implement the National Health Watch, ensuring as part of the financing strategy. So I would want that as we put advocacy and accountability, we should also be able to push advocacy on the demand side so that we can have resourcing in one.
Modalities that we see in our country. We acknowledge that family planning plays a central role in improving the health of mothers, infants, and it empowers women and reduces poverty. Third, we recognize that through various policy instruments, government of Uganda recognizes the importance of investing in family planning to facilitate scaling up, access and uptake of family planning services and all the other commodities that come along with it. We as political leaders, we commit to ensure that government fulfills the policy commitments.
An engaging discussion. And I can say that we are closing. I think we are literally starting with the new year, follow up with the different actions like we've committed. I hope we can all follow up on our commitments and work together.
Government to really step up to domestic financing. Listening to the discussions, I think we need to look at the focus of our accountability should be at two fronts. One, increasing domestic allocation, which I really see, the pledges, the commitments, the declarations are quite strong on that. But I haven't seen so much on how we can also better and more efficiently use what's being allocated. I think the conversation has skewed a bit to the first, and we didn't dig that, a bit deeply into the second, and yet that's also very important.
Scheme that we need it. So please come on. Thank you. Let's clap for him for joining the team. Yes, he's also signing. I think it's that beautiful flower.